Welcome to Dining Delights. Today's episode of our restaurant quality meal you can make at home is going to be all about English fish and chips. Now we're also going to make a little bit of sauce to go with it because you know I like to make sauce with everything. But we're going to start off with the chip part. Today's chips we're going to make out of Yukon Gold potatoes. And you'll see we have nice pretty color. I'm also going to use the skins on these. I think the skin is not only looks nice when it's cooked, I think it is absolutely delicious as well. And to make these chips today, I want to square off my potato a little bit. So I'm just going to get the edges squared like this. And then we're going to cut it into 4 long pieces all the way through, down just like that. And I'm going to cut each of these into 4. And what I like is it looks like a little square. It looks like a traditional style English chip. So that's kind of what we're going for to make sure this really does look kind of authentic. And we're going to get them all cut. Now, one of the most important things about starting this process and putting them in the frying oil is that they have to be super dry. So we're going to take a towel. We're going to dry some of these. We'll dry one batch at a time and dry like this. We're going to take our towel and we're going to dry them off all the way with this towel. Okay, just like that. You can see getting lots of the moisture off. That's exactly what we want. Our oil to start with is only 325 degrees. Normally we fry at 350. What I'm going to do is just cook the potatoes through at the 325, and then we're going to finish them off at 350 after we finish our fish. So we'll give them a nice crust on the outside, and it gives them just such a better flavor and texture on the middle. It will make them soft and velvety inside. So we're going to go ahead and get these first ones right in the oil. And these will cook about 6 or 7 minutes. And then we will take them out and we will let them just sit on the baker's rack, and we'll get these all cooked and start moving on towards our fish. Our potatoes have been in for 6 or 7 minutes and they are looking like they cooked all the way through. I did take one out and check it. So we're going to take them and we're going to let them cool on this baker's rack right here. And we will finish the cooking process and just get that last minute or so that they need when we do our fish. Nice thing is they'll be almost ready to cook right after the fish is done, so the fish will stay nice and hot as well. So we're going to get those right over there. Now, as I promised, sauce. Sauce is the boss, right? This is going to be a tartar sauce and have some base ingredients. We have some sour cream, we have mayonnaise, lemon juice, a little bit of sugar. Also like to add some capers and some traditional dill, and then we're just going to go with some salt and pepper. Now what we're going to do is get our 2 creams mixed together, the sour cream and the mayonnaise. Get those right in the bowl. And I want to start mixing those together first before I start add anything else, and get them good and blended. Everything else will come together much better if these first 2 ingredients are blended well. Just like that. And we can set that right there. Now, I'm going to use the juice from half a lemon to start with, and then we'll taste and see if it's tart enough to go with our fish. We're going to go right in like that. We got 1 lemon. Going to take our dill. We're going to pull the little fronds off again. These are just fabulous little bursts of flavor, and they'll add so much flavor to our tartar sauce. We're going to make sure we don't get any stems, and we're just going to chop. And we want them to get down to little strands. So individual little threads almost of dill is what we were looking for. And it doesn't take much to break it down to that level. You can see right there, we have quite a bit. We'll go right into our mixture. We're going to use the capers today, and I'm just going to take some of these out. I don't want much of that liquid, but a little bit will be okay. We'll add just a touch of that brine. But we want to chop these up as well. And I usually just go lay them out and go nice and slow through them. If you go nice and slow, you can get them chopped up. They don't roll around, and it makes it much easier to get them all chopped. But these will add that briny, salty note. So we're a little bit of that dill flavor, a little bit of sour from the lemon, and then this brine kind of adds a nice umami flavor as well. And we'll go right in. Okay. And then last but not least, we need a pinch of salt, touch of pepper, You could use white pepper if you're worried about having speckles. I think it actually looks nice to have the little speckles in. You can see that it's actually seasoned. So, but that's just my personal preference. And we're gonna mix, mix, mix. And once it comes together like this, it's time to taste. See how we're doing? Taste and spoon. Whoop, it's absolutely perfect. So we're just gonna set it aside and we will start working on our fish next. For our fish and chips, we are going to use cod today. Now, the reason I chose cod today is I want a nice long piece of fish. It's a very light, elegant white fish, and it tastes actually fantastic. Our batter itself to do fish and chips is 2 components individually. So the first one we have is dry. Now the dry component is going to be just simple. We're going to have some flour to dredge it in. Okay, we're going to sprinkle some paprika and some salt in there. Get some salt right there. Going to put the paprika right into the flour, like this. Okay, we're going to mix just a little bit. Now that paprika is going to add a little bit of peppery flavor. We're also going to put some on top of the fish. So we're going to season our fish now. So we're going to go salt on both sides and paprika on both sides, just like this. And we'll turn them over. Paprika, salt, and we have a little bit of flavor. Also adds a nice little bit of color. So that will be the first part of our dry ingredients for our fish. Now we're making a beer batter, so we are obviously going to use beer. I have a can of beer right here. I have 2 kinds of flour that we're going to use today. The first one is a 00 flour. This is a fine grind. It is a European flour, so it will be more traditional flavor in our batter from Europe, obviously, right? It's a very, very finer grind flour than we use here. We're going to go right in with that 00. And then this is rice flour. Rice flour will add a little crispy texture. It can handle high heat, and it just kind of will lighten things up a little bit. It's used in a lot of Asian cooking as well. So we're going to go rice flour. Going to add about a teaspoon of salt, and we're going to add some baking soda. Now we're going to get our whisk, and before we add our beer, we're going to whisk all these dry ingredients together. We want to have a nice base to start with, just like this. And then we're going to start adding beer slowly. And what we're looking for here is a nice batter that looks like pancake. Now, the beer is going to help lighten up the batter, as well as we put in that baking soda that will help make it light too. You can see it's already starting to foam up a little bit. So we're going to keep adding. And we want, like I say, just about a thickness of pancake batter. And we want it to be nice and smooth. Now you'll notice the color here. The color of this is actually a red beer. This amber color is going to actually go through all the way into the fish, so the fish will have a little bit darker color in the breading on it. Yeah, I think it'll be very, very attractive. It'll be a very nice golden brown color. And we're just going to keep adding. This is not a basic recipe where you can just say, oh, we're going to put a cup in or a cup and a half. You want to make sure that the batter is nice and smooth and that it's pancake-like. Sometimes it takes more and sometimes it takes a little bit less. And you can see we're starting to get that point right here. We'll stir out some of those lumps really fast. Okay. Now, you can see our batter's nice. It's just like a pancake batter. We are going to go ahead and start getting our fish ready. Our oil is now at 350 degrees. We can double check just to make sure. Always double check for positive to make sure your oil is the right temperature. You don't want it too hot or too cold. So we're going to go right in. Dry ingredient, flour, like this. This flour is going to be the bonding agent that all of this batter right here is going to stick to. We're going to get that batter to stick to, make sure we get it all coated. And I do recommend, believe it or not, you use your hands for this. It is easier to make sure you get a good coating. And we'll get it all over. And then we're going to pick it right up. And we are going to do kind of the swimming technique with our scrape some of the excess off. We're going to pull through right in and just lay it right into the oil. And get another one in there too, right into this. And we'll turn right into the other batter. Get some of the edges off. And we'll go right in with that one. And these will take about 6 or 7 minutes to cook, and we'll be ready to finish our English chips. Look at that color. These fish are golden brown, and you can really see what that amber beer does to the color of the crust. Makes it look so fantastic. It's super crispy. I mean, it is like ready to go. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to hurry and get these potatoes back in. We're going to finish cooking our chips, and we'll get those back right in the oil, just like this. And as soon as those chips are in, we will be ready to plate up and eat. That second fry is just finishing up, and you can look at how beautiful these English chips look. They're nice golden brown. They look absolutely amazing. Nice and crispy on the outside, and they're going to be so soft and velvety in the inside because we did fry them at that 325 to start with until they were cooked through. So all this process is doing now is just making sure that they're cooked all the way and crispy. We're also going to hurry and top them with some salt. As they just come out, we'll put a little bit of dash of salt on the fish as well. And now for plate up time, what we're going to do is get some of our potatoes here, and we're going to put them right nice and hot right into our basket in here. We want to get this basket to look really nice. One side will be all potato. Okay, fancy. Now to top these, the finishing touch, we're going to put a little bit of garlic, fresh garlic, a little bit of bite, nice, really bold flavor. We want these to really be delicious. And then we're going to top them with some Parmesan cheese. Now, for our fish, we're going to plate right simply 1, 2, like this, right over them. Going to get some lemon wedges on both sides. And we're going to take some of our tartar sauce, that fancy tartar sauce we made, so delicious. We can get it right in the cup as well, right in the plate. And we have English style fish and chips. Thank you so much for watching today. It's been my pleasure taking you through the steps of cooking the English style fish and chips. It's one of my favorite dishes. I think your family's going to love it as well. You can get this recipes at cookingwithchefchris.com, and I look forward to cooking with you again in the future. Thank you so much.